Greetings, fellow Southern Cameroonians and all Cameroonians as a whole. We have seen an impressive show of popular support and force by the Renaissance movement of Maurice Kamto in Daido, in Douala in Cameroon. Very, very impressive, something that nobody can ignore, and we have to give you people an Ambazonian perspective of this event. Maurice Kamto, as you know very well, in 2019 was arrested for rebellion and similar charges that Ambazonian activists have been arrested on. That means terrorism and rebellion, and put before a military tribunal where he was held in prison in Kondengi for over 9 months without trial. And there he met Sisekwa Yoktabi and many other Ambazonian activists. At the end of that trial, under pressure from the French President Emmanuel Macron, his direct involvement led to Paul Biya ordering the dropping of those trials. Maurice Kamto walked free. But in 2014, Maurice Kamto again, due to Paul Atanganji, was convocated in the Cameroon Gendarmerie, where he attended it concerning similar charges. Those investigations are still ongoing, as we know. Maurice Kamto recently is coming back from France, where he has met supporters. We noticed that the level of engagement with the French authorities were significantly reduced. So we could say that the French government is isolating themselves, or maybe giving space for Maurice Kamto, whatever you may choose to interpret. But he was coming back from a trip from France, where he met supporters and received a huge home welcome from his supporters. As Cameroon approaches their presidential election, this is a very, very significant issue which directly affects us, Southern Cameroonians, Anglophones, and we have to take a look and give you a unique Ambazonian perspective about this event. Let me put up the video at my back. So as you people can see, a very impressive crowd in Douala. The Francophones crying for a savior in Maurice Kamto. I think I need some popcorn to watch this. So, it's very, very impressed to see the population in Douala. Douala is the home of heroes, brave people in Cameroon. They're saying, bye-bye Paul Biya, Kamto, he don't come. The man we need a year friend. Very impressive, and I'll give you our perspective at the end of the clip. Very massive crowd. The gendarmes tried to stop the population. The gendarmes tried to stop the population. They could not stop them. The population keep on growing, and Maurice Kamto had to release this video on social media for the people, his crowds, to go back home. Let us listen to the message. It's in French. We're gonna hear.
J'aurais bien voulu vous rencontrer comme prévu ce jour au siège du mouvement pour la renaissance du Cameroun à Daido. Mais à l'heure où je vous parle, je suis toujours séquestré et il est 16 heures. Je ne voudrais pas qu'une telle rencontre, si elle était encore possible aujourd'hui, ait lieu la nuit. C'est pourquoi je vous demande de rentrer chez vous dans le calme et la dignité. Je renvoie donc cette rencontre à demain, au siège du parti, à 10 heures. Rentrez dans la paix, restez confiants et dignes.
So that was the message of Maurice Kamto asking people to go back home. So he sent message me to supporters then go back home. Say na night time, it be which for come out for come address them, but you know, if you do he go do today for their party, office for Douala. So that wait till that way that happen. And our people they need to know something. As we have looking at this massive support for Maurice Kamto, some people would think that now it is inevitable that there is popular uprising in Cameroon can change the regime. It is not our position in PRAP to determine whether that is true. The Maurice Kamto rally is very significant. That he has gathered this popular support is very, very significant. It is also very crucial for us Anglophone to consider our unique position. We are in a unique position, and to learn history and not to make the same mistakes we have made in the past. History we have to learn from other minorities around the world, because I've put out very strong position about Cameroon presidential election. We can take a look at Tibet in China. We see a people whose cultural identity have been overshadowed and have adapted themselves, their resistance under challenging circumstances. It'd be very important for us as Anglophone to know we are in a struggle. We are in a fight for our identity, our culture, and we have to look for elsewhere for examples. In Hong Kong, for example, where citizens have faced increased limitation of their freedoms, just like us in Southern Cameroon, our freedom have been curtailed because of this war. You also look at the Kurdish people who are spread across several nations. They have also suffered from marginalization. And you look even in Russia, you see the people in Russia, in China, where there is nearly impossible for any popular uprising to overthrow the regime. In those countries, minority people have adapted themselves to that environment to survive and to have and enjoy more freedom. Even Chechnya, you know very well the war between Russia and Chechnya. Chechnya was fighting for independence similar to what we in Cameroon have been fighting for. Chechnya, who fought fiercely for independence, has adapted within the Russian Federation. They have adapted themselves. They are now part of Russia. They even fight along the Russian army in Ukraine. They adapted not because they wanted to be part of for Russia, but they realized that it is not possible to surmount the challenges they face. These examples should remind us that while public support, as we see, in political engagement is very important and appealing, it is not our place to do that. As Anglophones, we cannot do that. We must also be strategic and realistic. As Anglophones, we have experienced already firsthand the harsh reality of pushing for change in Cameroon during the period of John Fundi. During his time, when rallies were held in the Anglophone region in particular, in Bamenda, I was there as a child. I witnessed those rallies of John Fundi. Maurice Kamto have not pulled crowd as big as those pulled by John Fundi. John Fundi did it in the north, in central, and everywhere, even in the village of Pobia. So, when population were gathered like that in Bamenda, like they were gathering in Douala, they were often met with brutal force, with gendarmes and the military using live bullets, resulting to tragic loss of life. That is what would happen if this was an Anglophone having rally in Bamenda. In contrast, in recent rally in Douala, as we have seen in Daido, of population coming, challenging the military, even overshadowing the Cameroon gendarmes to perform their rally, what we saw in Douala was a restrained response from security forces that underscores the stark difference in treatment between Anglophones and Francophones. Nobody was killed. Nobody was brutalized. Armored cars or vehicles to spray water on people were not used. This disparity, along with the reality that in a country like Cameroon, the ruling regime in place, Pobia, has already transformed the judiciary to maintain control. Unlike during the time of Fundi, where they had a Supreme Court, now you have a constitutional court that has been made a special bench to handle election. such creation of the Constitutional Court, led by a childhood friend of Paul Biya himself, a very old man, remind us that it is an insurmountable challenge to achieve change through the ballot box alone. And while the Maurice Kamto is very impressive, we acknowledge it and we are very sympathetic and relates to it, we remind ourselves of this fact. It is as big as Mount Kilimanjaro. Just as Francophones may soon realize their own limitation because they think now that they can overrun the country and overshadow him, they should try, but they will soon realize their own limitation. We too, as Anglophones, we should never forget, as we have been putting in PRAP, we must adapt and find a new way to ensure our voices are heard. We should not engage or participate in such rallies for political changes in Cameroon anymore. It is enough for us. When we participate, we only make Francophones lazy. Furthermore, even more important that all Anglophones should hear, we have yet to hear Maurice Kamto advocate for a negotiated settlement with Ambazonian separatist leaders that ensures that Anglophones' right as expressed in the Ambazonian struggle for self-determination be heard. His stance is not significantly divergent from that of the ruling CPDM regime which is in power today. We have not seen or heard Maurice Kamto call for direct negotiations with separatist leaders that are in abroad. We have not heard him say that directly. We have not heard him call for the release of political prisoners that were arrested from the beginning of the struggle, including Mancho BBC, Penterence, and many others who are in prison, who have never carried up weapons. We have not heard Maurice Kamto call for their release. We have not heard Maurice Kamto call for the end of the use of the military tribunal against Anglophones for expressing their opinion in support for self-determination. People are being flown from Bamenda to be tried in Yaoundé, flown from Buea to be tried in Yaoundé in a language that they don't understand. We have not heard him criticize the flawed bilingualism that is being pushed by the Biya regime through this special status that place Anglophone at risk of marginalization and assimilation because the bilingualism put us in equal footing. He proposed federalism, but federalism does not address our unique identity. The bilingualism is what is affecting us. In the end, our goal is to ensure that our voices, our common interests as Anglophones are heard and respected, not just through immediate political gains, but through a lasting influence and strategic alliances. So we want to hear more from Maurice Kamto about bilingualism, our identity, not about just the structure of the state, because it is our identity that we care about the most. We don't want a bilingualism where they say English and French is equal when we know that the population between English and French are not equal. We want to hear Maurice Kamto talk about Anglophones region having English being the dominant language. We want to speak English in providing public services so that our people will have a head start in our region as Francophones have a head start in their region. Those are the things we want to hear him talk about, our unique identity, not an abstract position about federalism that leaves our people hanging. Our issue is more of identity, not just a government structure. Regimes will come and go, but the structure will remain. So while we admire and notice this massive support of Maurice Kamto, the position of us in PRAP is that we will work with whatever regime is in place in Yaoundé. Whether it is Maurice Kamto or Paul Biya, whatever, this is their battle. We will observe it and comment on it because it affects us. And we will also push that if they want Ambazonian people to be sympathetic to their cause, should take positions that are in line with our identity, our plight, and the aspiration of our own people. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.